The Browns OTA starting up, a very special Cleveland Brown legend's birthday. And speaking of special, a very special guest. He's a legend. He's a three-time world champion. He's a Hall of Famer, and he's the master of the diamond cutter. So let's start the show. Bang!
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara, the sickest Cleveland Browns podcast.
Chubb runs, he's to the 10, 15, he's to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. There goes Chubb, he's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Shabba-lubba hub.
It's gonna be sick.
Welcome, everybody. Andy McNamara with you. Getting closer one more week to the start of the NFL season. Kind of the downtime now, right? The draft is over. The schedule's released. Had a great show last week going over playing the schedule game. We got the Browns at 11-6. Want to know where you think the Browns will finish? Give me your score prediction, your record prediction going into the 2024 season. Click subscribe, notifications on, leave a comment, share it. Make sure you're following us on all social media, on X, at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81, Instagram and TikTok, at AndyMCSports. I mentioned it. Hey, you know what? Leroy Kelly, very special birthday today for Cleveland Brown legend Leroy Kelly, 82 years old. How about that? 82 years old. And of course, for those of you maybe a bit younger who don't remember Leroy Kelly, I didn't see him play, but he's one of my dad's favorite players. He took over when Jim Brown retired, right? So he played 10 NFL seasons. But from 1966 onward, he was the bell cow back for the Browns. Final numbers of his career, 7,274 yards, 190 catches, 90 touchdowns, total yards, 2,281, and a Hall of Famer. And you can go on this at SickPodBrowns Twitter X account, and we retweeted, we shared while the Pro Football Hall of Fame put out the happy birthday and showed some of his highlights. I'll tell you, we love our Jimmy Brown, and he's the GOAT. Leroy Kelly wasn't that far off. Like, Leroy Kelly was the real deal, man. So another side question I was thinking, give me your top three Browns running backs of all time. For me, Jim Brown, Leroy Kelly, and Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb comes right underneath for me. I want to know yours. Who's the top three, 5, whatever. Give me your top Browns running backs of all time. Leave a comment. Hit us up on social. Browns OTAs starting this week. The important ones. This is the rookies, the voluntary, so not much happens. There's still 3 weeks to go for that. So there's June 11 to 13, and there can be 10 days. This is per the Browns official site. 10 days of OTAs where no live contact is permitted, but 7-on-7, 9-on-7, 11 and 11 drills are there. So that's to help avoid injury, ease your way back in, etc. So the Browns, the OTAs are kind of going, but nothing too much yet. A guy who's always got something going on. He is nonstop action. He's one of my all-time favorites. I've interviewed him on TSN Sportsnet, and before that, I watched him on national television every week for a bunch of years. Let's bring in the master of the diamond cutter. He is the Hall of Famer, the three-time world champ, the legend, Diamond Dallas Page. DDP, how are you?
Andy, first of all, I want to say thank you on the air, because when I reached out to you, I said, listen, I'm coming to Guelph to do a DDP yoga workshop. I want to get the word out. You go, bro, let me work on it. Next thing I know, I got a text from one guy. Then I got a text from another guy. And just got done doing Mike's and Tyler's show. So just getting that word. I appreciate, a lot of people will tell you it's all about who you know or who knows you, but that's not really true. It's really about who's willing to say they know you, who's willing to pick up the phone and call for you. And that goes a long way with me. It's not lost on me. So thanks, bro.
Oh, thank you. Anytime. And Dallas, it's a part of why I want to do it is, one, you're a great dude. And we've done interviews in the past. Those shows got huge ratings for me and all that. You're a great guy. But also, like truly, I will preach from the rooftops and tell everybody I know how much DDPY works. And the workshop in Guelph, anybody in the greater Toronto area, even upstate New York, it's not that far, can go ddpyoga.com, ddpyogaworkshops.com. It's all on social at DDPY. Come to the workshop. I'm going to be there too. And I can't wait for that. But get to the workshop and really try it, because the famous people you've helped, never mind the everyday guy, but the famous people you've helped, there's the well-documented Jake the Snake Roberts, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, But most recently, tell us a little bit about Butterbean. We remember Butterbean, the tough man competition guy from the 90s. You're saving the man's life.
It's really crazy because God just puts me in certain people's paths. And there's a guy named Rick Bassman who was really the first guy who put Sting and Warrior together with two other guys. I'm talking about back before they started wrestling. Like, he had this vision, and he's a guy who's been in the business and out of the business for a long time. And for years, he'd been trying to put me together with Butterbean. So about 3 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, I was doing his Talk Tough podcast, and he had on Flex Wheeler, the bodybuilder. He had Bob on, and they had Butterbean. And at some point, it's about 2.5 years ago, I guess, he said, boss had said, "So D, what are you doing now?" I said, I go, "Well, there's something I'm working on. It's not there yet, but we are literally putting together a docu-series that we're going to call Change or Die." And we're bringing in different people, and some could be celebrities, some could be regular people that come into the same place that we filmed The Resurrection of Jake the Snake. Yep. And I call it the Accountability Crib. And I start talking about it, and Flex goes, "DDP, you got to have Butterbean in there. Butterbean needs to go." And, Butterbean's like, "Well, what exactly are you going to do? How are you going to do this?" I said, "To be truthful, but I really don't know right now." And we ended up bringing Butterbean in, and the way he walked in, he didn't walk in. He hated putting crutches up under his arms because he couldn't straighten his body like that. So he put crutches in his hands and walked bent over. I mean, he was in so much pain, and it had to be because of his hips had fused, and he broke his back, and he was a mess. And I literally looked at him as he walked in. I looked at my business partner, Steve Yu. I go, "Bro, I did not know he was in this bad shape."
Wow.
Now, we filmed those 4 months, and he had some gains over that period. But it was really what happened the next year, because if you're going to keep working, we're a production company. So I just kept filming. So we literally are doing a documentary around Butterbean and his journey. And I got to read this to you because I just told Mike and Tyler this. Sylvester Stallone and Muhammad Ali were my two heroes growing up as a kid. Yeah. And Stallone wrote, this is the second time he mentioned, I did Rogan maybe about 5 years ago. And at some point, me and him are talking about Stallone and what an alpha dog he is. And, just putting him over. Stallone put that up on his page and said, "I have so much respect for both of these two gentlemen." And he put down me and Rogan, right? So when Butterbean thing goes viral, like on TikTok, I think I got like 8 million views on it. I don't know how many millions are on all that. But he writes, this is from Sylvester Stallone. Congratulations to Butterbean, a real warrior, comma. And I am, capital letters, stunned by Diamond Dallas Page and his extraordinary healing abilities. Like, wow. Hear that from one of your heroes. Pretty big. So we're working with right now. We're working with Lex and trying to get Lex out of the chair. Right. And it's been a decade, but I've got him standing. He's not moving yet, but standing, and we're filming. We're going to document that entire thing as well. So, and we literally, I just started talking to Kenny Omega and his journey. I sent my business partner, Steve Yu, up to talk to Kenny because he just had this surgery. So, I'm hoping that Kenny at some point may come down here and spend a little bit of time with me too. Because I think he's one of the greatest athletes ever. And me too. He really, I think the kid's great. And I know he's got one more run in him. I'm hoping, and I'm hoping that I can actually be a part of that with him. He's a really good dude, and he deserves to go out his own out in his own style, you know.
He's one of my son's favorites in AEW. So he had the diverticulitis surgery. He actually had it done.
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's scary stuff.
You know, my guy Steve Hughes, president of my company, but he also is the president of Comeback Studios, which is our company, you know, where we do all our documentaries, Resurrection of Jake the Snake, you know, all that stuff, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's phenomenal that you got hopefully Kenny in there, because of course, for those who don't know, DDP is good friends with Cody Rhodes and has worked with him. And part of the reason why I love the DDP workouts, and by the way, folks, I'm not just talking out of my ass here. I'm a card carrying DDPY member, brother. I've used it for years, and people say DDP. I just turned 43. Not that that's that old, but people tell me, you know, they're like, oh, I tell me I got 2 kids, a 12 and a 10-year-old. They said, you're like 25. I'm like, no, man. It's like, how? I'm like, it's like my knees hurt, and the guy's in their 30s. My knees, my hips hurt. I'm like, I feel better than high school, like myself. And part of the reason what's so great about it is when I got into DDPY because I saw the resurrection of Jake Roberts. I was like, hell, I love Jake the Snake. I love DDP. Scott Hall's in it. Let's watch it. I started doing it. And then I just started feeling better and better, upgrade to the power cuffs that you have now. And it's a case where when you're doing the workout, sometimes you got guys who are coming in. And if you're a wrestling fan, it's not just, you know, it's not yoga. It's, you know, instead of a warrior, it's Road Warrior. And it's like, what a rush, the old Legion of Doom. But guys like Darby, Darby are wrestling at Double or Nothing. AEW's All Elite Wrestling's 5th year anniversary show, Double or Nothing, this Sunday, May 26th. You can watch it on Triller TV, formerly Fight TV, Canada, US, International. He's back, and he's done a bunch of workouts with you guys. A smaller guy, but so much energy and so dynamic. Tell us a little bit about working with a guy like Darby Allin.
I'll tell you why I love to work with Darby, because he gets preventative maintenance. I mean, here we are with an NFL show, right?
Yeah.
If I was a wrestling fan and I played in the NFL, I have to look is Jericho. How is Jericho doing what he's been doing for so long? He's my biggest supporter with DDP Yoga. He sends me so many people to help that are his friends, from musicians to wrestlers. And Darby, you know, he was a big fan growing up as a kid. So when he got the chance to come here, he was listening. And he's also a straight edge guy, which means he doesn't do drugs. He doesn't do alcohol. His hype is the unbelievable stunts that he's been able to do in professional wrestling and on his skateboard and that little mini where he did that thing. I mean, like, he's a risk taker. Okay. But they're all calculated risks. Example, this is what I say. He really uses his brain. Like I do DDP's Gauntlet. It's not a podcast, but it's kind of like an interview workout segment like no one's ever done before. And I've got like 15 in the can. Darby, I'm probably gonna put out one that's first, like that what he's doing right now, because it was so long ago. I'll save that for another time. But Darby, when I put him in the plunge, he got the cold plunge. When I put him on Livo 2, which is hypoxia training at 22,000 feet, that's where you can go to. He got that right away. And after doing that, of course, get on the mat with DDP Yoga. Then we do the power cuffs, killer workout there, finish on the mat. And then I taught him how to hang upside down on this yoga swing. It grabs your hips and constantly elongating your body. Comes back maybe about 3 months, 4 months later, after he's doing the oxygen stuff, right? And he said, I made a decision. He goes, I'm going to climb Mount Everest. And I was like, all right, sure you are. He goes, no, I am. And that cold plunge is getting me ready. He said, but the hypoxia, he goes, I'm at 22,000 feet now. So I put him on the bike and I saw what he was doing at that level. I was like, okay, here's what you need to do. Now, I know this friend of mine named Greg Vernowski, and everybody calls him Vern. He has taken, I don't know, for 10 years, he took people up to the top of Everest and then took him down. He's been up and down so many times because he's a guy. And he just happened to move to Atlanta about around that same time. It was about 10 months ago. And I put him and Darby together. Now, when he hears someone has never climbed before, is going to climb Mount Everest, it's like, okay, here's read and do your thing and come back to me. Bottom line is, Darby had climbed in South America, the highest mountain, 23,000 feet. He was ready for Everest. He had done a bunch of big climbs, and he was ready for Everest. That's when he broke his foot. So,
yes,
over here, told him things, what to do, how to, to nurse it, and now he's getting ready for TV. So I'm going to see him on Friday. He's actually going to be here, and we'll just work together. And again, he's ready to go, and he'll, as soon as the red light's on, that camera's on, he'll be Darby from TV.
He's shot out of a cannon.
Say again.
I said he just gets shot out of a cannon. He's a fireball. That guy. It's great to see him back.
But he listens to, he doesn't have to make his own mistakes. He listens to all from what food to eat. There's a reason why Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time, is mainly because all of the time he got to spend putting the reps in, and he eats real food. He's very clean oriented as far as, that's why he was able to take so much punishment too. And as time went on, quarterbacks could take less and less punishment. Back we were just talking about Jim Brown's day when you got hit. I asked Kelly. Jim Kelly's a good buddy of mine. We were at the dinner, and I was like, "How did you get up on that frozen field with the snow coming down, and LT just came like a freight train and wiped you out?" I go, "How did you get back up again?" And he said, "I could hear my brothers saying," and I'll just throw an F-bomb in every other word.
Yeah.
"You ain't hurt. Get up." You ain't, and I'll throw F-bombs throughout that. And it was his brothers telling him, "You're tougher than that. Get up." I mean, what a warrior. He was one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch. I felt so bad for him that he didn't get one of those Super Bowl rings.
I know.
4 times.
Yeah. It's amazing. Well, and one of his cohorts in the 80s, Cleveland Brown great, Bernie Kosar. I got his autograph up there. I got to meet him a few years ago. And I've heard interviews, and he said before, I asked him something about something similar. How did you get up? He said he would get hit sometimes so hard he could feel his teeth move.
I believe it.
My God, imagine, because you see the old NFL films, they're clotheslining and all that, and now it's you blink at them too hard and it goes down, which is probably better. But it's wild.
Not the same game though, bro. Not the same game. When you think about Mongo McMichael playing 16 years, on the defense, and if you're a lineman in the NFL, I don't care if it's practice, you hit.
Yep. Collision.
There's never a time those are the only guys that I feel in my day, today, which I love this too, that the schedule's not as brutal,
right?
Like it was for WWE or WWE. It was brutal when I wrestled. Not as bad as when Jake did. Jake once, here's a picture of me and Jake. Great shot of me and Jake back when I was first starting in, and Jake was one of my mentors for but there was a time where Jake worked 90 straight days, double shots on Saturday and Sunday.
That's brutal.
Just imagine that. That was different because wrestling was so hot in the 80s, but not so much hot on TV. It was hot on TV, but in the arenas, quite hot. It was just pushing them boys out there, and that's why so many guys died. How could you not be addicted to pills and cocaine? How did you keep going?
it seemed impossible. And you're right. That's why so many have tragically left this way too soon. Now let's talk about one of quarterback who is trying to come back. And I know somebody that you're very interested in seeing how they progress back this year is Aaron Rodgers, now of the New York Jets, tore Achilles. And boy, Dallas, it was so sad. He comes out with the American flag. Yeah, 3 plays later, and he's gone. 39 years old. The medicine is, the best it's ever been as far as getting people back. But boy, like with all the athletes and stuff you deal with the DDP yoga, like to have that type of injury or lower body and have to operate at the highest of levels in the NFL. What do you think with Aaron Rodgers?
Well, I was watching the reality show Hard Knocks on it. Yeah. I was so pumped to see him and Garrett Wilson. That guy's unbelievable, though. But there's some great receivers on that team. And the kid, the quarterback there, he's still too young. There's certain you look at a guy like Caleb Williams. Like, it'll be really interesting to see what he does coming in. But if there's anybody who's been packaged and has the ability to be in that spot, because I'm watching the Bears too, but I really want to see Aaron come back. And can you imagine after those 3 plays, he's out. Now he's had to sit there an entire year.
Yeah.
Like, stuff that's rolling through his brain. And let's go back to what we talked. That doesn't happen. So they don't have to take that abuse. So for him, and I believe he could have that same length of time that a Brady could have, because, he stayed in great shape, and you can come back from that Achilles injury now. So I'm really excited for New York, because New York was so excited, and their coach too, man. He was so much fun to watch that I hope it comes back and he gets to live the dream. It would be amazing for the Jets to have an unbelievable season.
Well, the NFL is always better the more star power you have at quarterback. That's just a fact. Oh, you got me now?
No.
We can see you. We got you. You got us? Oh, we may have lost Dallas for a moment there. We had him. We'll get Dallas back on. Don't forget, okay, DDP Workshop, Guelph, Ontario, in Canada. So if you're anywhere in the Greater Toronto area, upstate New York, where you want to drive in, $89 only. Saturday, June 8th. There he is. I was just plugging the workshop. Saturday, June 8th in Guelph. There we go.
Yeah, and everybody who comes, like the very first thing I do is, after you put your stuff down, is you get online, and my wife, Paige, and we take pictures. Yes, my wife's first name is Paige. Yes. So she's Paige. But the best part is her maiden name is McMahon. Like, I'm not making this up.
No relation.
Yeah. No relation. So she's literally Paige McMahon Paige.
That's
but
so funny.
The first thing, like, everybody has got, who's coming there has got some story, and I hope they keep it as short as possible. But I listen to every single person. I take a picture with my wife and every single person, and then I get up on the stage, and it's called Inspiration Meets Perspiration. So I'm literally going to get you as pumped as you've ever been, and try to light that spark in front of you. I'm not there to get people motivated. I'm there to inspire people to believe in themselves. The first time I ever said, never underestimate the power someone gives you by believing you, I said that in Jake's induction speech. And I said, more importantly, never underestimate the power you give yourself by believing in you. And I'd never said that before. And that became one of my quotes. But I want people, my goal is to get them to believe in themselves, because so many people don't. Yeah. And it's really amazing what you can do once you do start to believe in yourself. Like, I want to read you something. Do I got a couple minutes here?
Yeah, sure, of course.
All right. On my app, on DDP Yoga Now, the app,
Yeah.
Anybody can try it. 7 days for free. One of the things on the dashboard is the list. And the list is like the yellow brick road. Everyone want to know why I have such great, unbelievable transformations. It's because they do the list. But there's also the latest new workout that came out that week. There's probably something from Power Cuffs up there. There's new cooking plans because we video. We just don't show you, the ingredients, how to make it. We make it for you. So we take them all through that every week. But the main thing that I brought this up because there's Fabulous Friday. And I always tell people, don't listen to a word I say about DDP Yoga. Go on Facebook. Everybody's got it. And just type in DDP Yoga, one word. 2 words is the company. 1 word is a group of people. It started with 5 people trying to keep them accountable. And then I went to 100. And then I went to 1,000. Now there's 78,000 people on that page. And so what I decided to do was to start doing Fabulous Friday and just reading what different people write that I think's inspiring. So I see this guy, Brandon, right? Mm-hmm. I read it, and then I call my web guy up. I said, get me this kid's number. I want to call him. And I do that all the time. So this is what Brandon wrote that really moved me. He said, 1 year ago, after 2 years of having DDPY, but never using it, I decided the rubber has to meet the road. Otherwise, the car won't reach its intended destination. This is powerful, this next thing. He says, the hardest workout is and always will be pressing play. Heavy, right?
Yeah.
He said, once you accept that it's going to be difficult at first, it's amazing how easy it becomes. I have overcome 3 herniated discs and multiple back surgeries. It's the reason I found DDP, the reason I found Diamond Dallas Page and DDP Yoga. I read comments on this board all the time, and there are many people who doubt themselves and make excuses. Here's some advice that may help. For those of you who will start Monday, you need to prepare. Preparation is essential, but after a certain point, the only thing left to do is act. Any more preparation is at best a waste of time, and at worst, a comfortable lie we're indulging in to protect ourselves from the possibility of failure. For those who say, I don't know what to do, I'm not good at this. This is the greatest line I've ever heard. Embarrassment is the cost of entry. I was just speaking in front of 1,000 people in LA last week, and I read this. It's going to become part of my thing that I do because it's so powerful. I said, I want everyone to raise their hand here who has started something that they've never done before and we're great at it. None of you.
Yeah.
Because embarrassment is the cost of entry. If you aren't willing to look like a foolish beginner, you will never become a graceful master. I hope this helps others. I know I get inspired by posts here all the time, and I'm hoping that this helps someone. I know you can't give someone the desire to change, but maybe it will help spark something. Thank you, DDP, and Paige for saving this father of 2 beautiful little girls' life and extending his ears a few more.
Oh man, that's awesome. What there's your bulletin board material to why right there.
Unbelievable, man.
How does that make you feel, DDP? Let me ask you this, because you've got, to be your 3-time world champ, you're used to getting cheered and loved and all that. But when you hear something like that, like you just saved, and it's not a famous person's life, it's a guy. It's a guy. Yeah. It's a normal guy, gets up, goes to work, has 2 kids, he's doing his thing, he has to mow the lawn. How does that make you feel? Where like you legit changed this guy's life.
It's not just changing his life, it's helping him own his life. And that's always my goal. Own your life, like on your terms. I get choked up every time I read that. Every time. Like it emotionally affects me because it emotionally affected him in a way that he had to write something. And I've read so much. And we're talking about the guy who's read so much, who's looking at
Oh, let's see if we get Dallas. We might have lost him. Hopefully we can get it back. Okay, we'll try to get Dallas back before we wrap up. Like I said, DDP Workshop in Canada, Saturday, June 8th in Guelph. Saturday, go to ddpyogaworkshops.com or on Twitter at ddpyoga, at realddp, all over. Just ddpyogaworkshops.com in Guelph, Ontario. I'm going to be there. If that's a selling point, I'm going to be there. But you're there for, like Dallas said, you get pictures, you get to talk, you get motivation and all that. It's tremendous. June 8th, Saturday. There we go, DDP.
the finish is what was the last thing I said?
You were saying how it got you choked up reading that, and you read so much stuff.
Oh, yeah. The guy who was reading at a third grade level at the age of 30.
Right.
I
remember that, hearing that.
I taught myself how to read, probably got to about a fifth grade level. But then I went to a place in LA called the Eris Learning Center that teaches kids and adults, who are dyslexic and have ADHD and ADD, etc., how to read. And the woman that I ended up getting with was 85 years old. Her name was Rose. And I would go every Tuesday and every Thursday. I did it for about 6 months. She said I took home more homework than anyone she's ever seen. Huh. But you have to understand, I never did homework. I freaking
right.
Someone else did it for me. I'm not proud of that, but I wanted to get through high school, and I was involved in the classroom. But when it came to, it was brutal. Like I would get, if someone had to read out loud, it came to me, I'd get kicked out of the class, grab the girl's hair in front of me before it would get to me, because I tried it in the beginning and bad.
Yeah.
Today I read everything. I read everything, and still not the greatest reader, but I can read good enough, and I value the written word. So when I read something like what Brandon wrote, I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm going to call him and tell him, you moved me on this. And I'm going to tell people, because what you did, so many people do. And I heard Rose say one time, hey, sometimes the toughest part is just showing up. Like, just show up. Who cares? Yeah. Just get on the mat. Like I've left the gym. So then the reason why I stopped lifting 16 years ago, I leave the gym and I go, God, my shoulder, what the hell did I do? Or my bicep, would I tear something? I mean, because I was still lifting heavy, and I was in the 50s. And I finally said, I'm done. And I left and stopped lifting. And I didn't come back until I got these power cuffs where I wanted them. Blood flow restriction training.
I love it.
They were developed to heal, from a torn ACL, a torn rotator cuff, a torn pec. So what Cody trained back with after he was, how he ripped that pec.
Bruce.
Oh man, ripped it right off the bone, and that he could wrestle. Like, that's the intestinal fortitude that Cody Rhodes has.
Yeah.
Like he is the guy. Like, he saw it before anybody did. And there was some tough times as they went through this journey, because the first time him and Roman get together, for all intents and purposes, they're filling his head full of, it's going to be you.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, it looks like it's not going to be. And I'm like, is that really such a bad thing? Because, the fans, you've developed really like hardcore fans that love you. And the people have a lot to do with what happens in professional wrestling.
Sure.
The best example of it. they were pissed as hell when he didn't win. To me, it's a good thing because you're taking it away and then getting that next shot and then to be a 2-time Royal Rumble winner. I mean, there's 4 guys who've done that.
That's elite company.
That puts you at a different level of elite. Like, no matter what happens, he is at that spot. And he will be at that spot because of the work he puts in, the showmanship he has, the love he has for the fans. And a lot of people thought it was a gimmick at first where he would stay after and talk and, and then sign people's autographs. Like I would take the camera out of people's hands and do selfies. Like I said it at some point, the first People's Champion is Ali. The next one is Dusty Rhodes. The next one is Diamond Dallas Page. The next one is The Rock.
Yeah.
And the next one is Cody Rhodes. And those people were so behind him. Not having to do 1 match, but 2 matches.
Yeah.
That did too.
Back to back.
Back like that. Crazy, man. That was the best WrestleMania ever. And he was a part of it. And he went over in that spot. And I said to him so many times when it looked dark, so many times I said, bro, I know you don't want to hear this, but it's going to be the best thing to happen to you no matter what happens.
Right.
And he actually said that in an interview. He was talking and he said, Dallas would say it to me. It's going to be the best thing that ever happened to you. And it always will. I've learned, and DDP Yoga is the best example I can give of I break my back. They say my career is over. I just signed a multi-million-dollar 3-year deal, and it's done. I'm done. It's over. 3 doctors will not sign off for me to come back. So I'm done. 3 months later, which becomes yoga meets rehab, meets dynamic resistance, meets old school calisthenics, done with slow burn movement, healed me back to be to where I am today. And you see, we were sitting here for a half an hour. I was here for an hour before you. At any time, I can take either foot, put it in your face.
Look at that.
I'm not holding on to anything.
68.
Or 228 pounds of twisted steel and appeal.
Yeah, brother.
And 8 years young.
Yep. Like when I'm doing the workouts, Dallas, that's part of what it is. I'm like, okay, if I'm tired, I'm like, damn, he's 68. I got to keep going. I got to keep doing it. And I'll tell you one quick story. You've been very generous with your time. So in October, I had on the top of my foot, right above the big toe, there was a bone growth, and I have it chopped off, like straight up. And I was thinking in my head, it's so easy. The doctor's like, take it easy, 2-3 weeks, whatever. The only day I didn't do a DDP workout was the day of the surgery. I started back with the chair workout. I couldn't stand. I got, because on the DDP app, I tell people, if you are bedridden, there's workouts for you. So right. I'm like, I'm in the chair. I got the walking boot on. I can't walk. I'm sitting there. I'm doing it. And then I graduated through that. And then it's okay. Now I need the chair. Now I'm holding the chair for support. And I work the stuff I had watched so often for other people doing. I'm like, now I need, and I'm doing it. And guess what? It's working. And now I'm back full. I'm doing power cups and, feel like $1 million. It's great.
It's to me, it's the greatest feeling. I've been able to help other people and make a living at it. It's like, but it took 6 years to be an overnight success in professional wrestling. 6 years. It took 8 years, DDP Yoga, to become an overnight success. And for the last 13 years, we've been changing lives on a different level. I'm coming back to Guelph because my man there, I don't know if I mentioned this on your show or not, but Dr. Marcel Doré, he is one of 5, there's only 5 that are master instructors. That means they can teach everything. Marcel at what's the name of the performance center we're going to be at?
I'm looking at, it's like the Guelph, what's it called? I'll look it up while you're saying it. The Royal Distributing Athletic PC. Royal Distributing Athletic PC in Guelph. Yes, there it is. In Guelph, Ontario. Yeah. Guelph Royal Distributing Athletic Performance Center, 7384 Wellington Road, 30, Guelph, Ontario is where it's at. We'll get DDP back one more time, then we'll wrap things up here. That's where it's at. Saturday, June 8th. Again, ddpyogaworkshops.com. Talking a lot of wrestling as well. We're just telling Darby Allin, Kenny Omega. Make sure AEW, All Elite Wrestling, Double or Nothing. The pay-per-views this Sunday. You guys know how much I love AEW. It's available on Triller TV, formerly Fight TV, in Canada and the US. And if you're watching internationally as well. But this Saturday, you get the Triller TV subscription. And on pay-per-view Saturday or Sunday, May 26th, is the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view. And Dallas, I was just saying, the name of the place is the Royal Distributing Athletic PC on Saturday, June 8th in Guelph.
You know, like I was saying, Dr. Marcel Doré, MD, in the emergency room, started with a bad back, got my program, came to Mexico to a number of my retreats, and him and his beautiful wife, they really loved the program. And Marcel's like, when are you going to do some instructors? And I told him I was working on that. He's one of my first instructors. He came one of my first second level instructors, and now he's one of my first master instructors. He literally teaches seated chair and holding on to chair to smaller groups. But at that PC, what's it called again?
The Royal Distributing Athletic PC in Guelph.
That's a soccer field.
Yeah.
He, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, teaches 100 people.
Oh, whoa.
Doing the workout with him every Tuesday and Thursday. So when I think of I have 5 different doctors that teach DDP yoga. That is the greatest payback that I could ever get, because here's guys who really literally with their medicine and surgeries and whatever help heal people, and then they have them do my stuff to help them. And we've got a whole DDP yoga on our page now on our app. You might have seen DDP PT, DDPY PT, physical therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
yeah.
So many times, not in your country, but in our country, they only give them so much insurance to pay for, and then they're like, okay, you're on your own.
Yeah.
They're not ready yet. So that's where DDP yoga really comes in, and you're getting ready for a surgery or whatever. It's going to help you with the surgery heal faster, because you're going to take care of your body more. And my goal is somewhere down the line to find that running back, who used to run for 1,000, 900,000 yards. And now he's got maybe 1 or 2 more years left on his contract, but he's injured. He's riddled by injuries, and maybe he's running for 150, 200 yards a year. When I get that guy, and I help him get back on track to run 1,000 yards again, that's when this thing implodes, just explodes crazy, Well,
maybe our guy Nick Chubb. We'll have to see if we can get you. That'd be. He's coming off of 2 knee surgeries. I think it was MCL and ACL double in the same knee he had in college. Blew it out. Horrific hit week 2. He's training to come back. That'd be a great hookup you get with Nick Chubb. That'd be awesome.
I would love to work with any of those guys like that. That's what DDP's Gauntlet's all about.
Right.
And it's showing, because all those guys can afford it. All the stuff I have, they can afford.
Right.
It's not that much for even for regular people, but I'm not selling any of it. I'm just turning people on to what I'm doing. How am I able to do what I'm doing? When I work with the Steiner cousins, Rick's and Scotty's boys, they are the class of the field. Scotty's boy, his youngest, is the freshman year, he played for Virginia Tech, at its highest level of basketball. He's going to be, Brandon is going to be a hell of a player down the line, up there for Virginia Tech. But all his boys are studs. All of Bronson is Rick Steiner's son.
Yeah.
when those guys are working out with me, because I'll have 5 Steiners at one time in a row, you know, and I'll keep up with the 67-year-old, 68-year-old guy. That's all you got to do. And I, believe it or not, I can bust them if I want to. I don't. I take it to the limit where they're like, how is he hanging with us? Like, no, I'm going to push you to the next level, you know? So it's like, what do you want out of it? You just want to, you'll get stretching is great, but it's not DDP yoga. Stretching will help you prevent injury, but DDP yoga will help really prevent it at a different level, because we're not just stretching, we're stretching and strengthening, like, as you know, muscles, ligaments, and tendons. And anybody who wants to come down there, see us in Guelph, like I said, we're taking pictures, then we'll do an inspirational talk, and then we'll do the Diamond Dozen, and then we'll talk about breathing, and then we'll finally do our workout, and then we'll take a group picture, everybody. So hopefully, are you going to try to get down there?
I'm definitely going to be there. I'm bringing my buddy Josh, who is as old school wrestling fan as I. So he's he is exhilarated to get to meet you. I'll tell you that. He's like, you take it. I was like, hey, this is your birthday present for the next decade, bro. Okay. He's like, all right. He's pumped. He's very excited. So yeah, we'll get everybody down there. The Royal Distributing Athletic PC Guelph, Saturday, June 8, ddpyogaworkshops.com. Before we let you go, Dallas, Super Bowl prediction. Is it Aaron Rodgers and the comeback story in the New York Jets? Is it Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs getting it done? Is it my Cleveland Browns finally getting to the dance? DDP's early Super Bowl winner.
You know, I'm gonna go on a wing and a prayer, and because my heart's with Aaron Rodgers. I'd love to see him come back for the Jets. But that sleeper group, man, he's got a hell of a line in front of him.
Yeah.
Kelly Williams, you know, what he's got, you know, they're my sleeper group, because this kid, I just feel he has that something special about him. And we'll see. You know, he couldn't win it in, with his UFC team, but we'll see. You know, I have a lot of hope for that kid, because I just look at his composure. Just the way he handles himself. Like, you got to be ready when you're going to be the man walking on there. You got to have everybody's respect, and the QB spot is the spot. Yeah. And I think he's been raised for it, so it'll be interesting to see what happens, man. It's going to be. I hate when football season's not happening.
I know. I know. And so, well, you know what? We're going to share this clip with a fellow Sick Podcast Network show member, also part of the NFL Network, Adam Rank. Does a Bears podcast and is a Bears junkie. So he's going to be thrilled to hear DDP saying, and he's a huge wrestling fan. So he's going to be thrilled to hear you say Caleb Williams and the Bears as your dark horse Super Bowl pick. His head's going to be too big. I don't know.
It would be crazy, but they've got a really good team. And
yeah, they're building.
Who was there before him? Where did he go to?
Justin Fields to Pittsburgh.
Justin literally played high school ball 20 miles from where I live. I mean, I was on that show QB1 that was on Netflix.
Yeah.
The guys that they were watching, and he's got it. I really will be interested to see where he goes, because there is a humongous chip on his shoulder now.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. If that doesn't take his work ethic to the stratosphere, because he ain't going down. Like anything, he's got something to prove now on a different level. Yeah. So Justin Fields could really be like, he could be someone to watch. Definitely someone to watch in the next couple of years. A lot of people believe in him, but the Bears, they got that spot to get that guy, and that guy has been the heir apparent for a while now. People have always looked at him, like, this is the guy. So if you got it, you got to go for it. You got to run with it. So, I think that they are my dark horse within 3 years, though, for sure.
Interesting.
And I love the Bears. I love Chicago, period. Chicago loved Diamond Dallas Page, because they're working class people, and they related to me. So
the people's champ. Yeah.
The most people to get DDP yoga in the States is from the state of Illinois.
It's from Illinois. DDP, we're up against the clock, brother. I will see you, and I hope to see a whole bunch of our Canadian fans. And in upstate New York, it's not that far of a drive. Saturday, June 8th, Royal Distributing Athletics PC in Guelph, Ontario. Dallas, we could talk for 4 hours, man. I always love having you on. Thank you so much.
Hey, brother, it's been your pleasure. Yeah.
See ya.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you, bud.
So, yeah, there he goes. Diamond Dallas Page. Phenomenal. Don't forget, AEW All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing with Darby Allin, who is trained with DDP. And Kenny Omega, I didn't know that, being helped out. It's this Sunday, May 26th on Triller TV, on Fight TV, Canada, US. Sunday, May 26th, going to be a phenomenal show, the 5th edition, Double or Nothing on Triller TV. Happy birthday to Leroy Kelly, the all-time Browns great Hall of Famer. He's 82 today. Browns OTAs starting up. And then the voluntary turn to mandatory through June. So we'll keep you all up to date on that. What a great chat that was. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on social, at SickPod Browns on X, at AndyMC81 on Twitter, at AndyMC Sports everywhere else. Thank you so much to Diamond Dallas Page and to all of you. And as always, go Browns.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.